Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Transfer Express webinar, Cornering the Camp Market. My name is Andy Curtis. I am the Senior Dealer Services and Graphic Design Manager here at Transfer Express, and with me I have Kathy Clark.
Hi there, Andy. How's it going today?
I am good, thank you. Kathy is from our marketing department. She is one of our content people, and she's going to be joining me for the color commentary here. Can everybody hear us okay? Give everybody a second to thank you, Adrian. I appreciate that. Um, so many years of doing these webinars, I find that's always the best way to start off, making sure everybody can hear us. Okay, so the topic that we're going to be discussing today is cornering the camp market. So camps are one of those things that I think exist all over the United States. They're all over the place, and it's funny because there's a bazillion different kinds of camps. And you know what's funny, Kathy, is I did not realize how many camps there were out there until we started putting this webinar together. And on our first slide, I'm going to show you guys a list of camps, but holy cow, there's all kinds of camps these days.
I I'm so excited about this topic because I went to all of them. I
Did
went
you
to
really?
golf camp, cheerleading camp, uh, like learning camp for a month. And I still have all the t-shirts and they still bring back awesome memories. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
This is gonna be a lot of fun. This is a fun topic, actually. You know what? We do so many of these. We do so many of these topics that are based on a certain market. I feel like camps are a chance for us as garment decorators to be creative, actually. I don't know what it is about the camp market that's different, but I just feel like there's an element to camps that you can be a little bit less, here's the normal way to do it, you know? Um, so anyway, without any further ado, we're going to get into our camp market webinar. If you have never joined us before, then welcome. We are going to be answering your questions. There is a chat box there, as some of you have noticed. You're welcome to type your questions into the chat box, and Kathy and I will try to get to them. If we are busy yapping away and we miss your question, then we have a helper that is there behind the curtain who will answer your question if we miss it. And there they are typing now. So we are also recording this webinar. So if you, I have a link I'm going to throw out on one of these slides in a couple minutes here, and it is a phenomenal link with a lot of really good camp information. So if you want any of this stuff that you're going to see, we're recording the webinar. It'll be posted to our website, transferexpress.com/webinars. You'll be able to check out anything that you may have missed. And as always, you can also shoot us an email, and we'll send you a PDF of the slides too if you want to do that. So let's go ahead and get it started. Find my mouse here. There I am. All right. So this is what I was just saying to Kathy a second ago. So in terms of types of camps, oh my gosh, I guess maybe this something changed since my childhood in the early '80s. I guess, but lots of different camps out there these days. And what's funny is, as I look at this list, and if you've joined me before, you know I always use the city of Mentor, where we're based here at Transfer Express. I always use Mentor as an example. And as I'm looking at this list, I'm realizing we do. Honestly, in the city of Mentor, we've got just about all of these things going on, except maybe the theater camp. I don't think we have a theater camp in the area, but the rest of these, good gosh.
Well, and there's multiples of these too. So like band camp, they have your high school marching that's going to have their band camp, and then you're going to have like at a college, you might have just, middle school and elementary school kids going. So
Good
yeah, there's
point.
a huge market for this, a lot of opportunity for you guys to make some serious money.
Absolutely. And remember, all of these camps, it's not just t-shirts either. I mean, depending on the type of camp we're talking about, there's all sorts of other bits and pieces, and we're going to go over all of that here in this presentation today. Hopefully, if nothing else, hopefully we give you some ideas. And even if you're sitting here listening to this and maybe you're not the biggest camp person in the world and you're thinking to yourself, well, gosh, I don't have a lot of camps in my area, at the very least, we've got some really slick ideas in this webinar that maybe you'll be able to take something away from, even if you don't go in the camp direction with it. But um, anyway, I can honestly say that there are some very lucrative opportunities here for us in these camps. I know one of the topics that's real big around here every summer, at least in customer service here at Transfer Express, are the vacation Bible schools. Those vacation Bible schools, there's always two or three. those VBS designs that come out every summer, and I think every summer we see them over and over and over again, hundreds of times in customer service. So definitely, there are some screen printers out there who are printing hundreds of these VBS transfers at a time, and that's just the Vacation Bible School, let alone the rest of it. So. But again, just some ideas for you in terms of different camps. And remember, there's overnight camps, there's day camps and play camps. The picture here, we've actually got this is the local city of Mentor sends out a little magazine with all of their summer camps, which are primarily day and play camps. Nature camps, scout camps. We're going to go into detail on each of these just a little bit more in the following slides.
Yeah, and a quick tip, Andy, on this is if you get your hands on these publications or go online and get them, these are published way in advance. My parents always booked me like the previous year. So, the opportunity to get in and get those bids for the
Absolutely.
camps. So that's a good way to learn about what's going on and get in on the action.
Absolutely. I agree completely. This is one of those times where if you watch some of our other webinars, we talk about how you can drum up some of this business, and that's honestly one of the best ways to drum up this kind of business is look at the publications. As soon as spring hits, I'd say, gosh, I think the City of Mentors goes out somewhere around February, March-ish, if not even earlier than that, honestly. As soon as you see that publication go out, that's your cue to start contacting these groups and these individuals. Uh, Vacation Bible schools are even easier approaching churches. You don't have to wait for a certain season. As a matter of fact, the earlier you get in there, the better probably. And we all know the bigger churches in the area will have the bigger Vacation Bible schools that have the budget to do the shirts and that kind of stuff too. If you've got camps, like for example, in the Lake County area here in Ohio, we know that there's a Red Oak camp. That's the name of a place here in near the city of Mentor. Red Oak camp hosts Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They host a nature camp. They host a whole bunch of other camps. So I know living in this area, if I had a t-shirt business, I would be hitting up Red Oak camp and asking them what they've got going on, what's on their schedule, and what can I do. So just some ideas in terms of how to drum the business up. But so one of the points we want to make, overnight camps, as we get into these different kinds of camps, overnight camps, of course, there's the camp store. And we're going to talk about that a little bit through this webinar, some ideas on camp stores and what camp stores need. Now, I suppose one of the other ways you could approach this, if you want to take a cue from one of the other webinars Kathy and I have done about schools, if you have a campground near you that you happen to know draws a certain amount of attention, it doesn't hurt for you to approach that campground and offer to help facilitate their camp store. Now, they may already have some kind of store where they carry essentials, a couple of bits of food and drink and that kind of stuff. But if they don't have a full out camp store, that's an opportunity for you to step in and offer to help facilitate that. They need t-shirts, they need hoodies, they need beach towels. At least if there's a lake, I suppose they need beach towels, right?
No, all camps need beach towels.
There you go.
Just saying from experience. But yeah, absolutely. And when you're a kid, usually the parents send a certain amount of money for the week and it's at their discretion to buy what they want. And, it's so exciting at the time. So, little backpacks or, it's really limitless. That's a phenomenal tip right there.
Absolutely. Cinch sacks are another one. Let's face it, every little kid needs a cinch sack. And remember who your audience is too. Keep in mind, like when you're approaching a camp, um, there's a campground Lake Wapasan that we know is more weekend camping for adults, the weekend warriors type situation. So that kind of camp, we're gonna tailor that camp store to a little bit of an older audience. But if we're talking about Red Oak Camp, where we know they do a lot of school stuff and youth related things, then we're going to target our camp store products to that audience. So, but the overnight camps have the camp stores, and that's definitely a good place to start. Even if they do already have an established one, this is still an opportunity for you to get in there and get your products in. So in terms of artwork, we here at Transfer Express are prepared to help you with that part. We have a whole section, 50 different layouts for camps on our EasyView Online Designer. Now I want to throw this out there. There are 50 layouts that are already pre-made for camps. but we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of clip art. If you happen to see a design that is football related or sports related in some capacity, and you like the way the layout looks, you can always take a campfire clip art or a pine tree clip art, or we've got this cute little camper type trailer clip art that's actually on one of these layouts here at the top. You could take that clip art and pop it into a different layout if you want to. So keep in mind as you're designing the artwork for a camp situation that you don't have to stick just to these 50 layouts. You can branch out from that. Now, bear in mind too that depending on what you're dealing with in terms of a camp, you may be dealing with somebody who's got their own custom order or custom artwork rather. And if that's the case, then we can assist you there as well. Keep in mind it's a little bit more expensive if they want to use their custom artwork or if they have their own custom logo. So again, you want to persuade them to this option to save money, if at all possible. So, um, but Transfer Express has you covered here on the camp thing. And I'll throw it out there too. Our marketing department is fantastic about putting out new clip arts on a monthly basis. So even if there's not something here necessarily, that doesn't mean that we're not going to come up with something cool and swanky here in the near future too. So constantly updating, constantly updating.
And always feel free to email us. Get us at info@transferexpress.com. You could leave a comment on the blog. We release new artwork every Tuesday. I see Adrian has a great question here, which is, basically if you want to offer your services to a camp store, what would you recommend about the best way to pitch those services?
That's a fantastic question there, Adrian. So here's how I would go about doing this. And Kathy, feel free to, if you have another idea, jump in and say something. But what I would do personally, Adrian, if I were you, is I would do some digging first and see if the camp that you're talking about has their own logo. Like for example, I know that locally, Lake Wapasan, they do have their own logo, but I know Red Oak Camp doesn't. So if I was approaching Wapasan, I know that I would have to utilize their logo somehow in my presentation to them. But Red Oak Camp, I wouldn't have to. So what I would do is hit our online designer, pick one of the camp layouts, and come up with something swanky. Again, know your audience. So if I continue with my example here, Adrian, of a kids camp, I'm going to gear it to something youngish. I'm going to keep it something hip and interesting as opposed to more mature per se. So I would probably find a cartoony campfire like the design at the top right of my page right now. I would snag that design. I would try to do something fun with it, maybe add the camp's name at the top and something artsy in the middle. Come up with a cool design. Make sure to use colors that are relevant if the camp itself has any kind of themed colors or anything like that. I would print the design out, probably come up with a couple designs as a matter of fact, using our EasyView Online Designer. And then I would approach the camp and show them, hey, I have this artwork. I can do this for you. I can put this on t-shirts. I can put this on shorts, towels, everything from garments to stuffed animals. And we're going to go over some of these options in our webinar today. And I would show them, here's what I can do. And when you go to do that presentation, I would have some pricing available, have an idea, because again, you don't know what kind of, especially if you're going to cold call these people, you don't know what kind of money they're working with for this particular subject. So for me personally, I know Red Oak Camp is a pretty well-to-do-ish camp. I know the cabins are maintained real nice and they're always busy. So I would probably choose some mid-range t-shirts in terms of pricing when I go to them. But if you're in an area that doesn't have quite as much cash, maybe the camp is not exactly kept up real nice, then I maybe would go with pick something that's a little bit more cost effective. But that's how I would go about doing it.
Yeah, and I think, you mentioned a point of if they don't have a camp store, maybe the opportunity is to help them get one started. And I think an important factor would be showing them what their profit is on that. So if they're selling this above and beyond the camp to the campers, that this could be another revenue stream for them.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually a very good point. If you're talking about a campground that does not have a store at all, then yeah, what you're going to want to do is take it a step further and help them with the math and show them that, all right, so the t-shirt's going to cost this and the transfer is going to cost this. So here's what you're going to be able to charge as the person on the other end of it. Um, and again, this is where you could roll with it. And honestly, Adrian, you can take this as far as you want. I'm going to give you some ideas later in the webinar that actually go outside of apparel. I'm going to give you guys a website that gives you ideas of what a camp store should sell that sort of go beyond the customization industry as a whole. So honestly, if you were going to do a full-blown presentation, you could take this as far as you want to in terms of giving them ideas of things they could sell. Do your research, how much the wholesale prices are for any of these items, candy, toys, that kind of stuff. Um, so it comes down to how far you want to take it. And then, of course, there's our non-apparel sticker product you could use to
Oh
make
yeah.
to stick all over that kind of stuff. But we'll cover that more in a couple slides. But that's sort of a 10,000 foot view of how I would handle that situation. All right. So this is sort of one of my stock suggestions. If you've listened to me before, you've heard me give this spiel. So what you're looking at here, this is a picture of our online designer. We call this Easy View. And what we've done here is the dotted line that you see, the dotted line represents the piece of transfer paper. Now, in the end, you're paying for that piece of transfer paper, so you should load that paper up with as much artwork, as many designs as you possibly could. And that's what we've done here. You see, Crooked River Camp has done a couple different designs, and it's important to note that there's a couple different sizes here, too. You've got a full-size adult, you've got that Crooked River one down there at the bottom could be a sleeve or a leg, depending on the age of the people we're talking about here. And then we've got a couple left chest designs or 4x4, 3x3 designs. We call them left chest, but they can go just about anywhere. So the whole point is fill this paper up. Put as much artwork as you possibly can. Utilize all the space. In the end, you're paying for that piece of paper. When you get it, cut it apart. And I'm going to show you on the next slide, actually, the next couple slides, rather. I'm going to show you a couple ideas on what you can do with those extra transfers. So let's say that Crooked River Camp approached you and they just wanted to do a full-size design. They picked out this crossed marshmallow sticks design that you see there. So that's what they want. Now, I'm going to fill it up with these other images. It doesn't cost me a single red cent more because I'm paying for the piece of paper. But I'm going to get them the full-size design they want, and I'm going to fill it up with all these other designs, and then I'm going to use that as a marketing tool to show them what else I can do for them.
Yeah, and conversely, you can put two different camps on a sheet, right? So if you go after this market, mix it up. And I would even say this is pretty conservative as far as a gang sheet. There's a lot of open territory in there. You know, you throw another little tree, another little bullseye,
I was thinking
and
that too, actually.
yeah, I like cramming that bad boy. And what's cool is it really makes that garment look special. We just did something in-house the other day, and we put a little, it'd be like a little logo in the lower right of the shirt, and just those little touches make it look high end. And to your point, maybe a little more time in the pressing, but it didn't cost you anything on the materials,
Yeah.
so you could charge a premium for it.
And actually, I want to take a riff off of what Kathy just said. If you were going to approach this from a perspective of pursuing multiple camps, so you've done your full-size design for Crooked River, you've put it together for them. The other little 3x3, 4x4 designs you see off to the right-hand side there, instead of putting Crooked River Camp on all of them, I could have taken that top image and put something like, I just want to be camping, or home is where the campfire is. I'm full of these things, people. Write them down.
Well, we do
um,
see you're full of things, Andy, but I don't know.
touche. But anyway, keep it generic. Find a fun little tagline like that, and utilize the camp clip art. And now what you've got is a little 3x3, 4x4 image that's got a generic cute saying on it. And I'm about to show you a whole slew of different things you could do with that. And again, I could use it as a marketing tool for Crooked River, or I could use it as a marketing tool to another campground in my area. And again, I know it's kind of cheesy to say this because on some level you ask, well, how many campgrounds are there really in your area? I, hey, we live in Northeast Ohio, and I honestly, I can think of at least 5 campgrounds in maybe a half hour, 45-minute radius of us.
Oh, and that's just campgrounds. Every college and university offers camps
Exactly.
all summer long. So, yeah, absolutely.
So the sky's the limit here. But let's talk about some of the fun stuff you can do with the extra transfers.
And can I just give a shout out to our photographer who does an awesome job? Uh, we actually have a webinar. It's a couple years old now, but it's about taking, good photographs for your apparel business. So go check that out if you think the shot is as cool as I do.
That was actually one of the most fun webinars I ever did. I really enjoyed the photography webinar, but our staff photographer, Natasha, is phenomenal. And she provides us with most of the photography you see in these webinars. So yes, shout out to Natasha. Um, but what you're seeing on this slide right here is basically what we've done is on the previous slide you saw our design in Easy View. We ordered a certain number of those sheets in white, and then we did a color change and ordered a certain amount of them in black. And this can be as easy as 10 sheets of white, 10 sheets of black. That gets me 10 full-size designs in white, 10 full-size designs in black, and then 10 of all those extra designs in white, and 10 of all the extra ones in black. So you can see what we've done with them here. We've got our ringer tee down there that's got the full-size design on it, but then you've got your cinch sack that's got one of our small 4x4s. You've got a pair of shorts that has our little campfire guy design on it. That's pretty cool. The hoodie is pretty slick. The hoodie, we've done a left chest and a sleeve. And if you really wanted to go nuts, you could put something on the back of that sucker too. You've got a hat there that's got one of the transfers on it. Again, as long as you're smart with your sizing on Easy View, you can do more than just left chests. You can do hats too. So you see there's a whole bunch of different options here. And again, what's crazy about this, everyone, is that we accomplished this with just one order. One order with a color change from white to black. So you don't have to do multiple orders.
Andy, a couple quick things. Thanks to our helpers behind the scenes there. I believe that is the link to the photography webinar. But if you guys could just quickly in the chat, just everyone understand what a color change is and how you do that in Easy View, because we do see a lot of orders that come in and people will place them as two separate orders and you're kind of unnecessarily spending money there. Awesome. Very, very glad, Sally.
Yeah, if anybody's not clear what a color change is, we can definitely review that real quick. But the important thing to note, yeah, okay. The important thing to note though is that uh, you're able to accomplish so much with one sheet of paper. No, I never needed one yet. Okay, Scott. So essentially, in a nutshell, a color change is your opportunity to get the same exact design in multiple different colors without having to start your price break over again. So, for example, Scott, uh, actually using the example that I gave you here, on the previous slide, you saw our design with all the camp designs on it. We did 10 sheets of that in white and 10 sheets of it in black. So now instead of having one order of 10 and another order of 10, which would be rather expensive because it's at the 10-piece price break, I have one order of 20 pieces. So I get the cheaper price break, and then there's a $15 color change fee. So now you can do that as many times as you wanted. So if I had a campground that was real ambitious, we could have done 10 sheets of white, 10 sheets of black, 10 sheets of red, 10 sheets of blue. Or you can even kick that quantity down lower, and I could have said like 3 sheets of white and 2 sheets of black and 2 sheets of navy blue and 1 sheet of red. So you can go crazy with color changes. Just bear in mind, Scott, that every time you change the color, it's a $15 fee, which seems steep until you do the math and figure out it's cheaper than it cost me to. It's a clean screens. I know, right? Just keep in mind that the $15 fee sounds like it's a hit every time you get it, but if you do the math and figure out how much it would cost you to do it without the color change, it's even more expensive. So don't be deterred by that.
Yeah, and we've got a great question here from Rita Z's. So if you're buying extra transfer sheets, how would you anticipate the materials you could put them on? And she says, assume you'll be printing them on polyester cinch sacks and 100% cotton tees.
Yes, actually, this is a very good question, Rita. So you do have to be smart about what you're buying in terms of what you're putting them on. The transfer type that we tend to go with most of the time, and if you watch any of the other webinars, you'll hear us say it over and over again, is goof proof. So our goof proof transfer type goes on cotton and polyester and 50/50, and goof proof goes on just about everything actually. Um, so yes, the goof-proof transfer is the way to go. And then when you're picking out your garments, when you're doing your presentation for the camp, or you're actually buying something to apply, make sure that it's cotton, polyester, and 50/50 if goof-proof is what you're going with. Now, if the camp requests something specific that is nylon or lycra or spandex, I have transfers that can cover that too. But if we were talking about just a basic presentation, just to show a camp what you're capable of, I don't think I would go crazy. Um, but yeah, I would stick to the cotton, the polyester, 50/50, and that kind of stuff. And keep in mind too, I'll throw this out there also. You'll notice if you look at our cinch sack, we picked a fancy pensy cinch sack that's got the orange middle part, some white piping on it. When we pressed on that cinch sack, we had to raise the surface area of the cinch sack above those seams because that white piping would have been a real thick seam and the heat press would have come down and hit the seams instead of hitting the transfer. So we ended up having to put like a little print perfect pad up in there to raise the surface area. But
Yeah,
that's another webinar topic.
it is indeed. Actually, I wanted to throw one back on the when we were talking about gang sheets. Always keep in mind too that you could be pitching your next client. So that's a really good use of that space. So if you're doing an order and the colors work out hold, it's going to make that sale, a lot easier.
Bingo. All right, now this is much more fun than it should be. So this is just another item you can offer in a camp store, and I suppose it comes down to the different kinds of camps. We listed as an overnight camp what to offer, but I don't know. I feel like this could definitely be more than just overnight camp. I guess it depends on the type of camp, but so heat printed stuffed animals. These are definitely a thing. What you're looking for is a stuffed animal that you can easily unzip or Velcroed shut that you can remove the stuffing from and you can flatten out. So our little teddy bear there, what you don't see is on his behind, he's got a zipper. So you unzip him, you pull out his stuffing, you lay him flat on your heat press, you stick your transfer on there like we did, and then you stick the stuffing back up in there. Um, oh, huh. Mm-hmm. It's funny you say that. Uh-oh, we lost Kathy. Kathy was just saying that these stuffed animals are one of her favorite topics, and we've actually got a fantastic blog post out there about these stuffed animals that are actually made for this purpose. And what you can't really see on this picture is that the brown on the bear's tummy has kind of taken on some of the texture of the stuffed animal itself, and it actually looks like leather. We had a customer in our showroom today. We actually have this bear sitting in our showroom here at Transfer, and we had a customer playing with it earlier today. It was the funniest thing. Very cool. And of course, then you've got the little dolly clothes too. Uh-oh, cannot hear. It's it's always something, isn't it? So the doll clothes are another great option too. Doll clothes are available through several different options out there on the internet. And again, it's another cheap way to get the camp's name out there. Again, this would be keeping in mind your audience. This would be a Girl Scout thing, perhaps. This would be a little kids day camp thing or a little kids overnight camp thing, that kind of thing. So, all right. So let's talk about, oh, here we go. I promised you guys that I had a good resource for you. So this is a fantastic option for you if you're seriously going to get into this camp thing and you want to actually pursue these people. What you're going to want to do is check out this website that I've listed here. It's www.summercamppro.com/100-camp-store-items. Now, again, this webinar is being recorded, so you can check out the recording to get that. You can get that website later. Um, But this is a fantastic resource. And what I've done actually is I've just copied and pasted their apparel section onto the slide here. They have a top 10 pieces of apparel for camps. So get your notepads out, write it down, everybody. So the top 10 items, I feel like David Letterman doing a top 10. The top 10 apparel items for a camp are t-shirts, hoodies, onesies, sweatpants, flannel pajama bottoms, hats and caps, beanies, socks, and jackets. Uh, poor, poor Kathy. She's going to result to doing an interpretive dance in the background if you all could see her. Um, But anyway, so these are the top 10 items to heat press onto in terms of apparel. Now, this website that I've given you here has all sorts of other stuff. They've got ideas for top 10 toys and candies and nature-related stuff and books and all kinds of things to give you an idea of what to do with a camp store. So this is what I was alluding to earlier when Adrian had asked his question, that this is up to you guys. If you're going to approach a camp and this is going to be your business and this is how you're going to try to snag the business, then you go as far as you want to go. If you're only going to offer the apparel, then you're only going to offer the apparel. But um, with this resource, you really could assist a, because let's be honest, if somebody who owns a campground is not necessarily going to be a marketing expert and they're not necessarily going to know how to get themselves out there, you know. So that's where we come into play. I had mentioned this earlier. We've also got our non-apparel items. So keep in mind that this goes beyond just t-shirt transfers. You can also offer them banners, stickers, and window decals through us here at Transfer Express. Banners are fantastic. Banners are one of those staple things that every company, every industry can use banners for some reason or another. But beyond that, we've also got stickers. The stickers are good for water bottles and glasses, mugs. You can slap those things on the cover of a memory book, all sorts of fun ideas in terms of sticker use. And then the window decals, of course, for Mom's minivan, another great option as well. So don't forget that the non-apparel items are out there too. And I should throw out there, I'm sorry, I should also throw out there that if you've done the screen print artwork with us here at Transfer Express, we've already got that artwork on file, and we can easily just apply that artwork to the non-apparel products without any drama or without having to harass you for artwork or anything like that. So, and we've also got our EasyView online designer that's capable of doing this stuff too. So, lots of benefits. All right, so sports camps. Let's talk sports camps for a moment here. So sports camps are all over the place. These can be run by the city, these can be run by pro teams, and they can be run by colleges and high schools. So sports camps, these are probably the ones that we see most often. They are all over the place. I know that in the city of Mentor, you've got a whole bunch of different sports camps at the local high school for each different sport, I imagine, plus cheerleading, I would think. I know that we have some camps in the area here in the Cleveland area. We've got the Cleveland Indians and the Cleveland Cavaliers, of course. So we have a couple different sports camps that they host or that they sponsor at the very least. And then on top of that, in the tiny little city of Mentor, I know that they have a soccer camp at the very least, and I believe they've got more than that. I think there's a baseball camp too. Um, so again, just using my area as an example, I know that there's a couple different sports camps options out there. So this becomes even more simple for you guys because you don't have to stick to just the cute overnight camp designs and all that kind of stuff. Now we can go straight to the sports section. We can use all of our favorite basketball designs in our example here for a basketball camp. Use all of your favorite basketball designs, and it's easy to accomplish this. Now, in this kind of camp, you're probably going to snag the type of apparel like t-shirts, tank tops, that kind of stuff. Depending on the sport, you might be able to snag bags, duffel bags, or sports bags, that kind of thing. Um, you're not going to get some of the more fringy stuff on a sports camp necessarily, but still a great opportunity to get some customized garments out there. Bandcamp. Bandcamp. I'm not going to make the joke everybody is expecting. It's cliche at this point in time, I think. Every high school has a summer band camp of some kind or another, and I would go far further than that and say that I believe some cities do even. I believe the city of Mentor has some kind of music camp they do as well at the local cultural center. So either way, point being, band camps are all over the place as well. And a little tip that we have on this slide, and you could apply this to any of the camps actually, the word instructor there you see on the polo shirt, that word instructor was done with our Express Names product. The Express Names product are super cost effective, very easily done. The word instructor, the word teacher, the word lifeguard, you can easily, for pennies, just a couple cents, honestly, you can add a left chest express name or a full size express name on the back of something. And you can utilize that in all sorts of different ways. The easiest thing for you folks to do would be able to say, hey, I can do your basketball camp t-shirts, your band camp t-shirts, and here's the price. And then for an extra blank dollars per shirt, I can add your name to the back of that. So a great add-on opportunity actually for you. Scout camp, Scout camp. Now, the thing that I have to throw out about Scout camp is that depending on if we're talking about Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, you do have to be a licensed, authorized company with them. You have some hoops you got to jump through to get authorized and licensed. Now, if you have Scout camps in your area, this is not a bad thing to pursue. The Boy Scouts are a little bit, and I say this with some experience over my years in customer service here at Transfer Express. The Boy Scouts tend to be a little bit more of sticklers about their logos and who utilizes them. Girl Scouts tend to be a little bit more easygoing about that kind of stuff. But if you do have a Boy Scout camp in your area, it is not a bad thing to hit up their website, and you'll find that there's a section for authorized apparel dealers, and they have instructions on how to become authorized. That is not a bad thing to pursue. Girl Scouts, like I said, a little bit easier going with their logos, so that's business that might be a little bit more simple for you to achieve without having to be an authorized customer necessarily. So, um, but again, the reason this is a fun topic to pursue is because the scout camps tend to have the budget to get some kind of shirts. And depending on what the theme for the camp is, if it's just a summer camp or if it's some kind of special camp for the boys or for the girls, there's other opportunities too in terms of other apparel products like we've been talking about through the webinar. So just some food for thought. Theater camp, theater camp. So there's obviously we busted out our digital product for the theater camp pictures here. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat and Susicle. These are both using our CAD print products in these photographs here. So you got full color CAD prints, and it's a vinyl-based product, so very colorful. But so again, theater camps are generally going to have some production that they're shooting for at the end of the season. So instead of a generic camp design like some of the other camps, there's going to be something specific they're going to want to do, some specific logo. Or you see we've given you the other option in the middle here where they do a cast list instead of the actual musicals design. But what you could technically do here, if you wanted to get real crazy, is you could do the production design, the production's name, and all that stuff on the front of the shirt. You could easily do a cast list on the back of the shirt. So you've got some fun different things you could do there too. Um, but these do tend to be colorful. These do tend to have a lot going on. That's why we've utilized our CAD prints in this picture, because a lot of times the musicals, the logos have a lot of colors and a lot of detail and a lot of artwork happening. That's when the digital transfers become very useful. Speaking of lots of colors, the VBS, the Vacation Bible Schools religious camps, sometimes these designs they pick they're the coolest pieces of artwork, but they have so many colors, so many colors. So that's why we've given you two different ideas here. So this theme is the Cavern Crusade, Compton Community Church Vacation Bible School. We've given you an example of what you could do with a full color version of Cavern Crusade. And that is, again, our digital product. That's a CAD print. Or on the right-hand side, you see we've given you the idea of what you could do with just a black and white version of it. So couple different options here. And again, when you're going to approach a vacation Bible school, make sure to ask them what their theme is. There are some organizations out there that will provide VBSs with the materials they need, including logos, JPEGs, and GIFs of their logo for the season. So uh, definitely remember to ask that first if you're going to pursue a church in that way. And I want to throw this out there too. I'm sorry. The whole tie-dye thing, obviously, if you have not done this before, tie-dye is a fantastic option for any camp. I don't care what the topic is, whether it's sports camp or theater camp or vacation Bible school camp or day camp. Tie-dye is just a camp staple. I remember as a little kid making tie-dye shirts in day camp. So I would definitely remember to keep that on your list of possibilities. Remember, we're talking about kids, and regardless of the age, every kid loves tie-dye. So and another example here, actually, this is a real slick idea, and I have never seen this. So again, kudos to our marketing department that finds this stuff, because I've never heard of this one before, but this is so cool. So this Vacation Bible School turned this into a craft opportunity. They did just a one-color transfer that's just outlines of Big Apple Adventures, and that's the transfer you see off to the far right-hand side. But then they've applied the transfer to the shirt and then given the kids fabric markers to color in the rest of it. How cool is that? I assure you, Kathy is nodding emphatically in the background. This is cool stuff. I think this is neat. This is a great opportunity, and I honestly believe you could apply this to any camp. This might not be like a campground type thing, but if you're talking about vacation Bible schools, band camps, theater camps, uh, the scout camp stuff, I honestly think this is an idea you could easily take to any camp and sell that as $1 million idea right there. So. Hoo-ha! So that was a lot of information. That was a lot of camp stuff in 45 minutes. I hope everybody got something out of it, even if you're not, even if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't know about this whole camp thing. I hope at the very least we've given you some really cool ideas, some things to try out in the rest of your business. Um, so definitely an opportunity here, and it's funny that it's taken us so many years to actually develop a camp webinar. One of those things that you guys could definitely make some money on that we've never touched before. So I hope everybody found it useful in some capacity. I'm going to throw it out there that if you have any ideas for webinars that you'd like Kathy and I to cover once we get her audio fixed, shoot us an email, info@transferexpress.com. Definitely hit our blog. A lot of the information that we get comes from our blog, and our marketing department has a lot of great content people that put out some really fantastic articles and put out some really fantastic ideas. So check our blog out, blog.transferexpress.com, and of course our website with all the other webinar videos, transferexpress.com/webinars. So lots of, there you go, thank you, Helper, the blog link down there. And don't hesitate to give us a call if you have questions about anything. We are here until 7 p.m. every night. Kathy and I will be joining you again for custom printing for back to school. I don't know if you just heard that noise, Kathy, but I think that was every parent in the country cheering that school will be going. Kathy's waving her arms emphatically. So we're going to be doing custom printing for back to school July 12th at 2 p.m. So come grab a chair, join us, and have fun with printing for back to school. It's always a good webinar. We've always got a lot of good information on that one, and July is a good time to do it too because you've got a full month before back to school stuff really starts to kick into gear. So, all right, everybody, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your attendance, and we will talk to you soon.